Greetings, adventurers! My name is Patrick, and today I have a tale to tell. Now, unfortunately, this isn't a positive tale. No. It is a tale of woe. Nah, but for real. This video is not at all what I expected it to wind up being. For you see, me and my friends have been in a bit of a Faire slump lately, as there have been none around. You know, we're just getting out of winter at time of recording, and so we all found out about one that was about 90 minutes away from us, and it clarified it was a mini Renaissance fair, right? And so we were all like getting hyped, and my plan was for us to record it and go on an adventure, an expedition. Oh, wouldn't it be fun? An episode of The Corner of the Tavern where we go on the road and we do all we can, and wouldn't that be fun? I was looking for more of like a fun experience kind of video. However, we quickly ran into problems as Key dropped out. He could not make it due to other obligations. And I was thinking, well, that's fine. Then what I could do is make it a vlog style video and title it as a half episode, as I am doing with this one. However, the reason why it is still a half episode, and also not a vlog episode, is because this is mainly going to be me describing what befell my party members at this mini Renaissance fair, and Key was not there for it, so this is mainly just going to pertain to me telling you what happened and why it was a terrible experience, and none of us will be going back. Now, I just want to say I will not be naming the fair in particular, nor will I be using any of the footage I took while I was there, because I'm not looking to sling shit at the organizers. It became immediately apparent that they just did not know what they were in for. They signed up to do this. They probably thought it would be a fun idea. They got in too deep, and it wound up being way too much for them. That aside, this was also partnered with a business in particular. And the reason why this is being a video in this format is because even the base amenities of the business itself were not very accommodating or nice to me and my traveling companions. So let's set the stage. Again, we traveled 90 minutes to be there. Now, I'm just going to say, I didn't have super high expectations, and I recognized that we were going way out of our way for this event, right? So I'm not saying that, like, this should factor into everything that happened. Like, it's not their fault that we traveled so far to be there, right? I recognize that that's on us, but again, that's also something that you should keep in mind of, like, our mindset when going forward with this, right? So we pull up and we go to the front entrance, and immediately, honestly, the energy is electrifying. The person who they have taking tickets was really nice, really sweet, really cool, and they were doing their best, right? Like every person that came by, they did like character interactions like at a real Ren fair, and so we were like, okay, all right, this is pretty cool, off to a great start. So the business in question that they were partnered with, or was throwing it, to be quite honest, I'm not sure entirely, was a bar and restaurant. So how it was set up is we went up a flight of stairs. It was all indoors, which is good because it was freezing cold. And on one side you had like a mini convention hall, and then on the other was a bar and restaurant. Now, me and Sir Micus, who you might recognize from previous episodes, wanted to immediately check out the convention hall, but my brother wanted to get a beer, which makes sense, you know, he wanted to, like, kick off a little bit, right? So we go to the tavern and restaurant side of things, and my brother goes up to the counter and is immediately greeted with, like, the most hostile, antisocial, like, you know, bitter, angry, and like not good customer service, right? And all he did was walk up to the bar and wait there for a second, and then the second the person came to serve him, they immediately had like a bad attitude. And all my brother asked for was a simple beer, and they acted like, you know, he was acting like he ordered something like a 5-course meal off the menu. It was kind of crazy how they reacted, given such a simple order, if I'm being quite honest. And I recognize that. I do recognize that, you know, like I heard some of the muttering that they were saying under their breath. Basically, they were just really, really flustered, right? They were already sort of overwhelmed. But at the same time, that stuff you got to kind of keep under wraps a little bit. Like even if I'm like, let's say I'm working in customer service, right? And like as previously been established, I work fairs, right? I work at Renaissance fairs. And even when I'm getting angry or flustered, right, I try to keep up the accent and I make it into like a little bit of a bit, right? I'm not like angry and flustered. I'm like, and a customer comes up to me, I'm like, hold on a second, okay? I'm getting this together. Hold on a second, That immediately is like, makes you go like, whoa, what did I do? Why fuck me for, right? And my brother even checked with me and Mikey after he got his beer, and he was like, was I being a dick? like was I being a dick and just not knowing it? And we were like, no, that wasn't on you. And he was like, okay, I didn't think so, but I just wanted to make sure. But regardless, quest completed. My brother gained his alcoholic beverage, and now it was off to the convention center, which was small, and we recognized that, but it was just kind of an awkward feeling because, everything's so crammed and tiny, and that's all fine. I wasn't expecting this to be a huge thing. However, okay, when you go to a Ren fair, it's not the same as going to an anime convention. And by that I mean, when you go to an anime convention and people sit at their booths, there's a lot of booths kind of crammed together, right? They just kind of wait for you to come up, and then they wait for you to maybe have a question, and then they'll talk to you, right? Not at Ren fairs, all right? At Ren fairs, you get call-outs, like every customer that walks by, or like, they don't even have to make eye contact with you, right? They'll be like, "Prithee, sir, care to come here? Check out my wares. Wouldn't you like to sample some?" And it's just like, when you're in a small convention center and it's literally like booth, and they're all doing that, it is kind of like overwhelming. It is kind of a lot that it makes you want to just look down and walk like this along, because you really are, you're just trying to take everything in, and all of a sudden every single person is like, "Hey, come here, you know what I mean?" It's like, Jesus, And so as a result, it was just immediately overwhelming. And not to mention, they didn't really have much going on in the form of shows or really anything to do. It was primarily there was one thing there. It was just shopping, and then one thing, which was they had armored combat there, right? So they had real life knights fighting each other. And we were like, wow, that's actually really cool. We definitely want to see that before we leave, at the very least. But by that point, we had kind of circled everything and seen all the shops. And we were like, well, all right, I guess we'll order some food and drink from the bar side, and then maybe things will be popping more on the convention side after some period of time, right? So we go to the restaurant side of things, and I'm just going to be honest, it was not a good experience on any level. It was not a good experience. The wait staff lied to my brother twice. And there was just straight up some false advertising on some of their menu items. So, to go in chronological order, when we were first being served, my brother saw something on the menu. It was a pretty expensive item, but he asked the waiter outright, like, "Oh, maybe we can all share it." And so he specifically asked the waiter, "Hey, would this feed all three of us?" Waiter didn't even hesitate. "Oh yeah, ton of food." Okay, we're like, "Oh, okay, sick, okay, yeah, we'll take one of those." And my friend Mikey ordered a drink, an alcoholic beverage. Now, the drink that he ordered specifically had text on it that made it sound like it was one of those drinks that comes on fire. Like it specifically said that in the text of the drink description. And so first, I'll get to the food. So they bring out our food, and it is a single charcuterie board. Now, for those of you who do not know what a charcuterie board is, it is a platter of meats, cheeses, toppings, and bread. It is very much meant to be like a sampler thing, something you have at parties, like cocktail shrimp for the guest, right? Needless to say, one charcuterie board will not fill up 3 grown adult men. So that's why I say that the waitstaff lied, because my brother specifically asked him, "Hey, will this fill up all 3 of us?" And by the way, they did not call it a charcuterie board anywhere on the menu. It had a like flavor name for what it was called, and then it just had a description saying that it was a huge platter of meats, cheeses, and bread. Nowhere did it say it was a charcuterie board. If it did, we would have known that that was bullshit right out the gate, that that would not have fed 3 grown men. Secondly, Mikey's drink arrived, and immediately, it was not on fire, and he was like, well, I guess that was just flavor text. I guess that was not a real descriptor, right? But those are like relatively minor things. So we split up the charcuterie board, and Mikey had his drink, and he seemed pleased with how it tasted at the very least. And we ate the whole board, and we were like, all right, I guess we'll order more food. No big deal, no big deal. So Mikey ordered a sandwich. His sandwich was fine. Nothing wrong with it, right? Nothing big. It was just a regular sandwich. But also, that's kind of hard to fuck up. I got stuffed mushrooms, and my brother, this is the second time the waitstaff lied to him, because he asked how big, they served flatbread pizzas, and he asked how big was it? And they said, about as big as this tray. And he said, oh, I shall definitely take one of those. So me and Mikey's food arrives first. Again, Mikey's food is fine. Mine made me sick, okay? Made me ill. I felt genuinely queasy after eating it. And I was like, oh, God, really? Wow. And so then it proceeded to take multiple hours for my brother's pizza to come out. We asked about it 3 times, and the first time they said, oh, it's just so busy, which... Granted, I can understand that, but it wasn't when we put in the order, right? It was actually like relatively empty when we ordered the food. So that excuse kind of doesn't work. Like, because it is busy now after like so much time has passed of us waiting for it, that doesn't change the fact that it was like actually not busy when we ordered the food. Like, I feel like this would have taken the same amount of time regardless, just based again on when we placed the order relative to when other customers started showing up. But after, such a long wait, finally my brother received his flatbread pizza. And the reason why I say it was a lie is because when they gave it to him, it was on the same tray as the one that the man said it was as big as, and it was not as big as the tray, okay? There is a difference between as big as this tray and it comes on this tray, right? It didn't fill the brim, right? And I would consider that a lie, because I feel like that's a very straightforward question. How big is it? As big as this tray. Oh, okay. And then again, it comes on that tray and it's quite clearly smaller. It's like, dude, come on. Like, if you genuinely thought that that was the answer to the question, you needed to be way more specific. Again, how big is it? Well, it comes on this tray, right? That's the correct answer. But we were like, whatever, we've all eaten now, things are starting to pop off. Maybe, we go back to the convention center and we at least, find some stuff to do until the knights fight each other, right? And so we go over, and it is packed way past capacity. There's hardly enough room to move in there now. It is insane. And we go around, and we kill another half hour about, and as we're looking around, now there's new stuff, and we're like, what? And we go up, and we talk to the people setting it up, and they're like, oh, we're still setting it up, or we just set it up, we just got it done, or we're still in the middle of it. And it's like, we're 3 hours past the start time now. What do you mean you're just setting it up, or you're still setting it up? like, do you know when it's time to set things up, it's an hour before the event, or at the very least, however much time you need before the event starts, not 3 hours after it's already begun. Like, that's just crazy, because we noticed, immediately that half the stuff that was advertised to be there just wasn't, and this is why, is because they just started that late. But so we're like, okay, we've killed a little bit more time. Finally, an announcement comes overhead that the knights will be battling each other in another half an hour. And we're just like, oh my God. There's so little to do here. All we're doing is just killing time. There's just not anything to do here. And, it's crazy, and they're still settling up. And we've had just nonstop bad customer service experiences. And my brother is the kind of person who can have fun anywhere. So the fact that he was like, this shit's lame, like, really, really speaks to how bad it is. Because my brother can make his own fun anywhere he goes, right? Like, you know, you give him a paper clip and leave him alone in a room for 3 hours, he'll entertain himself. He won't even notice that you're gone. And yet somehow, at this mini convention, you know, he's like, this shit is dead, despite the fact that it is filled past capacity with people. And so finally, the three of us just gathered around and had a little powwow, and we were just like, it is not worth it to wait for the nights. We are leaving. This was a waste of a night. And so we packed up and we left, and it was just a long, sad drive home. And the reason why I am talking about this experience is primarily to vent, primarily just to like, you know, get it out of my system, because again, I initially was planning for this to be a much different video. I was planning for this to be a fun, like, yee kind of adventure. Oh, the lads from the corner of the tavern go on an adventure and we have so much fun. Look at all we did here, you know, and then instead it was like, wow, you know, like not all of us being there, that's fine, you know, that can't be helped, but like just getting there and just being like, oh my god, dude. You know, so that was my experience at this mini, whatever you want to call it. Please let me know what you think about it down in the comments, as well as if you had any bad Ren Fair experiences. I'm Patrick, and I'll see you next time.